Greg, for the last 3 years, LSU has had different defensive coordinators. Bo Pelini, the co-coordinators last year, and, of course, the newcomer, John Chavis. What is different this spring as opposed to last year and the year before?
Well, you start out with John Chavis, a guy that's been around the Southeastern Conference. He's had great defenses at Tennessee. So, he knows the conference and he can coach defense in this conference. And last year, LSU came out and experimented with the dual defensive coordinator. That didn't work. So, you got a guy that's coming in, more experience. You expect him to know the conference and how to get his players ready. And it's going to be an interesting thing. And let's remember, championships are won on the defensive side of the ball.
That's the side of the ball you played on, as I recall.
Yeah, that is the side. It is. You got to play good defense if you're going to win championships. And I think for LSU this year, you're changing coordinators. But again, Chavis is an experienced guy. He knows the conference, and I think he brings some confidence to this young defense.
John Chavis is the new guy running the LSU defense. Let's get to know him a little better.
Coach, your defense coming into a new situation here at LSU. Your thoughts overall after having gone through a spring now with these guys?
Well, we've got some work to do, but we've made a lot of progress. I like where we are. Certainly, we can get the things done that we need to get done. I think the players have responded to a new system and the things that we're trying to do them and the way we're trying to do them. So I'm really pleased with that. But again, it's obvious that we got some work to do. But I think we got the talent and the time to get it done. But not a moment to spare. We got to work every day.
Talk a little bit about your scheme and your style of defense.
Well, we want to be aggressive, and we intend to be aggressive. And I think the kids like playing in that kind of scheme. It gives them an opportunity to make plays, but what it takes is great players to do that. And we've got a few players that can get to that point. Certainly, when they understand the concepts and play within those concepts, and it's a fun scheme to play in. You get to turn it loose, and you get to show your athletic ability.
How do you put a scheme in during one spring after these guys? They've had the talent and they've had the tradition, but you come in now. How do you get them into that?
Well, the thing is, and it's kind of tough for me too, because it's the first time that I've done that in 20 years. But usually when you get ready for spring practice, you're going with guys that pretty much know what you're doing. So it's a little bit different. But we've made great progress with Coach Haley and Coach Cooper. We've had to spend hours and hours together to get on the same page. Our players are really picking up what we're trying to get across to them. And like I said, I'm really pleased with where we are, but we got a little work to do.
Any one particular player, one position stands out in your mind?
I hate to start singling anybody out right now. We're trying to work on being a football team and playing together as 11. Certainly there's some talent out there, and there's a couple guys that I'm sure you saw that do stand out because they're very, very talented. The biggest thing is us playing together as a team. You can put a lot of talent out there, but if you don't play together as a team, then you're not going to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish.
Coming in, Coach, one last question. Any big surprises to when you got here? You had more talent than you thought?
Well, I'm familiar with the SEC. I see everybody on film, so there was no surprises. I mean, they've done a great job recruiting here. This program speaks for itself. I mean, it's a caliber program that there's no question year in and year out you're going to be in the championship mix, and that's what we expect, and that's what we're here for.
So overall, how would you grade your spring?
Well, yeah, I think we got some good work done. As far as putting a grade on it, we'll see where we are in the fall, and that's the time, to really put those grades there. But I'm pleased with where we are. You'd like to have 10 more days to get some things done, but we've made great progress in the time we've had. We got to continue to work. We got to work in all season, and fall practice is going to be really important for us, particularly on defense.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, Greg, there's certainly a lot of difference between spring practice and what happens in the fall during the regular season, but I think LSU fans have every right to be optimistic about some major improvement in the LSU defense for 2009.
There's no question they should be optimistic about it. You've got some good talent over there. Some of the guys have not played a lot, but hey, they've got some depth. They know how to play this football game. And you look at Chavis, he's experienced. He's got 2 defensive coaches with him that are brand new, but they know what to do. I think he's going to be ready, and I think you'll have him ready to play.
In a moment, we'll check in with Coach Les Miles about his reaction to this spring and his anticipation for 2009. Coach Les Miles about spring practice and what he anticipates this fall. Coach, the pads go into the locker room for the next several months before the fall camp opens. Your evaluation of spring 2009?
I think there's improvement made. I like some of the advances that needed to happen at places that we had key losses, and with 15 practices, it's still an imperfect finish, and but I think our football team's in position to have a great summer and have a great fall.
I ask you this every year, and you are unabashedly honest, so I'll ask you again. Right now on this Tiger roster, is this a team that can challenge, be in the mix for a BCS Bowl and perhaps a national championship?
I absolutely think we can. It's the style of team that has to come together and work through some issues, but there's some talent here, and I like where we're at.
Offensively this year, is there potential to be more versatile than years past?
Well, I think so. I think we can throw it and catch it and run it in a variety of ways, and I think I like how we've improved. I like how Jordan Jefferson finished at quarterback, and I think there's some mobility there. And I think there's a chance to be much more versatile.
I've heard you talk in reviews of the spring that you like the chemistry on this team, that there's some leadership elements that you see. How strong does that have to become for LSU to reach its potential?
We have to be more hungry than we've been, and I like the competition that's taking place in the spring. I think our key guys, guys that need to step to the front, understand leadership, and I think the chemistry is stirred most by the competitiveness and the want to be a great team again.
Is there a chance that this team surprises a lot of people in the fall? That people maybe are going to see the LSU it saw 2 years ago, 4 years ago?
Well, with work, with some questions answered, with being fortunate and avoiding injuries, yeah, I think there's a great chance that this football team can achieve at the very highest level.
Was there a surprise for you this spring, a guy or two who came out of nowhere that maybe was not as high in your mind or the coaches' minds before the spring training?
Well, I have to be honest with you. A coach that's really surprised is going to have to admit that he didn't expect much. But I expected a lot from this team, and I got it. Places that we had to have great performances. We graduated a very fine center. We had a couple guys step in there and compete very well and have good springs, P.J. Lonergan and T-Bob Hebert. I think I feel much better about that position as we go into the fall. At tight end, Richard Dixon didn't take a snap in the spring, and so we improved there, and some guys that D'Angelo Peterson stepped in at tight end and did some really good things, and Tyler Edwards. So, there's some spots as you went on. We graduated a number of guys in the defensive line. I think the veterans stepped in and played well. Drake Nevis had a great spring. I think we'll be fine at the defensive ends. It goes like that on a real quality spring, and this football team has had a very quality spring.
I'm looking into your eyes. I see a twinkle, and I see a bonfire in there ready to go for the fall. I know you're excited about the potential.
Well, this football team wants to achieve and look forward to championships. I think it's what you're seeing.